Hi everyone, Zach from Out There Vans in Grand Junction, Colorado. Behind me, I have a 2023 Ram Promaster, and today we are going to be installing one of the easiest to install suspension upgrades on this van. Let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about the suspension upgrade. The suspension upgrade we will be putting in today is this right here. This is called a Sumo spring. It's a helper spring for your van's weight. Now, before we get started, I do want to point out this is a easy baseline way to enhance the suspension on your van, but retain the factory driveline, the factory components, and really not mess too deep within the weeds of your suspension. There are many other routes you can take to beef everything up and make it even more off-road capable. But for the application of this video, this is a enhancement to make your stock van ride a lot better. We're going to be replacing this factory solid rubber bump stop with this Sumo spring. The Sumo spring is made out of a microcellular polyurethane. So what that means is it looks like solid rubber, but it has little air pockets in it that allows it to have some compression. Whereas the Sumo spring, it sits quite a bit lower. So it's already going to be preloaded a little bit lower down, ready to make contact. But as we go into that sway, it's going to make contact and it's going to slow down and dampen that sway as we go around the turn. You can order these in 3 different models that have a variety of extra support depending on how loaded down your van is. I generally run with the black version for our conversions, which is the medium duty version. There's a blue that's a lighter duty, and then there's a yellow that's a heavier duty. I often will put the heavier duty on like a 159 version van, just because there is the added weight there. This is a 136, but generally I run with this medium duty here. Now, on the topic of Sumo springs, these are available for the Ram Promaster, the Mercedes Sprinter, as well as the Ford Transit platforms. The install will vary a little bit between the 3 platforms. Today, we're specifically looking at the Ram Promaster, but some of this might pertain to the install of those other vans. Stay tuned for videos on those. These Sumo springs, I will put an Amazon affiliate link down in the description down below of this video. If you are interested in buying a set of these to install on your van, head on down there, click on those links. If you do make a purchase through the link, we do get a little bit of a kickback through it, and we very much appreciate it. So to install these, we simply need to go in on the bottom side of the van with a screwdriver and a hammer, because we need to remove these factory bump stops. If I flip this upside down, you'll see there are a few little notches on the metal frame of these factory bump stops. We need to go in there, slide a screwdriver into one of these, and hit it with the hammer to start loosening up these bump stops from below the van. As we are doing that, once we get it a couple little turns, a couple threads off, we will be able to just hand unscrew it the rest of the way. So it's not horrible. We just need that to loosen it up. And then once these factory bump stops are off, we will go in with our Sumo springs. And these Sumo springs come in the box with a little bit of blue Loctite provided, and we will go ahead and line our threads on the Sumo springs with some of this blue Loctite, and then we will go under and simply tighten them into place, screw them back in the same hole that these came out of. Now keep in mind, depending on if your van is converted or not, your van is going to ride a lot lower. I find I can generally do this install without having to raise or jack up the rear end of the van if it is not preloaded with any weight. However, once I put a conversion in, I generally need to lift that van up to have adequate clearance to go in and install these extended Sumo springs, as opposed to just being able to unscrew these shorter models out. So keep that in mind. If you are doing that, be sure to consult your owner's manual of your van to find proper jack points on that van. But once those are all screwed into place, that's it. You've already done a substantial upgrade. Now there's an additional Sumo spring upgrade we can do to the front coils. I will make a separate video on that. Now up front, we have a different suspension setup to this van, we will be installing the coil version of the Sumo springs to the front, which will be a separate video. So be sure to hit subscribe so you can see that. Keep in mind, there are links down in the description below to be able to find these Sumo springs for the Ram Promaster and various other vans. And if you have any other questions on the Sumo springs, please give us a shout down in the comment section down below.